Good, alhamdulillah.
Can we have your name?
Yes, my name is Megan Putney. I am born and raised in New York City.
We're born here.
You guys were born
Yeah,
here?
born
So you
here.
originated from
From
Bosnia?
Bosnia, yes, our parents.
So we have a couple questions about Islamophobia. Do you think it is exists, or do you feel any pressure of it?
It certainly does exist. I mean, with the media and how they portray the images of Islam, and the movie they just made about Muhammad.
Yeah, I was born in Virginia, near DC. I moved here for college. Islamophobia has been ingrained into the West since, I would say, even before the Crusades. What you're seeing today is Islamophobia manifested on a social level, a governmental level, and international level, from the war in Iraq to the impending war with Iran, right down to the policies in New York City. For example, there is a demographics committee that is part of the New York Police Department, the NYPD, that has been spying on Muslims. It's been spying on my campus at NYU. It's completely illegal. It's completely violating my civil rights.
Yes and no. I mean, for one, I get to work with a lot of amazing people who are working very much against Islamophobia and bigotry. So in that aspect, the organization I work for, Muslim Consultative Network, as well as a lot of interfaith groups, we're doing a lot to combat it. We're doing unity walks. We're doing Twitter campaigns. We're trying our best to educate people about not just Islam, but about tolerance and acceptance and getting to know one's neighbor. On the other hand, with the recent developments of, the subway ads being placed tomorrow that more or less calls Muslims as savages, that's really disheartening to have that happening in our own city, when of course we feel that it might be free speech, but it's definitely hate speech at that.
I think it does exist. I don't think we feel it as much here in New York because it's a big city. Do I feel it in New York? I personally don't. I don't know, to be honest, maybe because I don't wear a hijab, so that may be a reason why I don't. It would be a good question to ask a Muslim woman, for example, who will wear a hijab. But I still think it does exist. You see it throughout the TV. You hear some comments of sometimes written, for example, on Facebook. You can feel that exists a little bit.
Here in the United States?
Yes, I think it does exist. I think a lot of people are scared of Islam. They're scared of Muslims. They believe that we're terrorists, but we're actually a very gentle religion. Say something?
I agree. We're people of peace, and sometimes we just don't look up what Islam is about. We just listen to what the media says.
Just because of one person, that everyone shouldn't judge our whole religion.
So let me ask you a question about Islamophobia. So do you have any fear of Islam?
No.
Are you scared of Islam?
I have fear of people that are stupid, and in New York City, more in New York City than anywhere else in the world. People that don't think with their head. That's what I'm afraid of.
No matter what religion.
Doesn't matter their religion or where they are from. It's people that are not thinking straight, people that are angry for no reason. But all religions to me are the same. When you say, maybe you have a son? I'm not a Muslim. At this point in my life, I'm 37 years old. I don't practice any religion. I like to study religions.
I'm not Muslim. I'm a spiritual Buddhist, but we travel a lot and we like to be open to all religions.
I was really mad because that was a really awful movie, but the way I feel about it is that that's what they think. And if they choose to be ignorant, it's their problem, I'll let them live with their ignorance, But me, I know how my prophet is. And my prophet is he was a peaceful man, and I follow his examples.
I believe that our culture, our religion, we respect every religion, and everyone should as well. If they make a movie like that, then shame on you guys. That's not a way to talk.
I didn't see it because if I know something is offensive, I'm not going to go out of my way to watch it. And I think the reaction to this movie has been completely unnecessary and chaotic. I think shame on the Egyptian government for blasting it through its media if they knew it would be offensive to Muslims. I think it's really pointless for Muslims to even be watching this movie if they know it's offensive.
When you don't address certain people, certain groups in a negative way. Just, you can say what you want to say, but don't try to discriminate others. It's not, we're all different.
I honestly didn't watch it. I don't want to even give it my number count on YouTube, but I heard a lot of people did watch it. I think there was more of an educated approach we could have approached with it instead of a lot of violence. Violence is not the key for everything and not the answer for everything. But I definitely think, a lot of people do have hate. If it affects you, I think that's if you allow it to affect you. If you don't allow it to affect you, then it can't really.
No, I chose not to watch it.
What do you think?
Well, I chose not to watch it because I felt that, by watching the movie, we were actually adding to the amount of people around the world that were watching it. And I also, if Muslims around the world believe that we're not supposed to be, proliferating material of the Prophet Muhammad, why should we submit ourselves to then watching that type of material as well? So I chose not to watch it.
It depends on how you feel. I mean, there's always been criticism of the religion. I don't believe we should care too much about what they show. We know what our prophet is about and our religion. They use a small percentage, and they've been showing, videos on how they're burning. And I think that's just a reaction of the pressure they have in their countries. We know what our religion is about, and we should portray the peace of our religion to prove that wrong, I believe.
Islam is not about violence. I reached the point where I don't feel that way anymore. I am who I am. I am proud to be Muslim. I am proud to be Muslim, Arab, American, and that's who I am. That's my identity. People who are open-minded are willing to accept that. People who are close-minded, unfortunately, will stay like that.
And yeah, I mean, you should never offend someone. If you believe something, you should say it, but never by offending someone. There's ways of speaking, and if you're going to offend someone, then you shouldn't talk at all.
I'm afraid of the implications that surveillance has, because if you take away one right, where does it end? I have nothing to hide, but I do want my right to privacy, and so I'm not afraid, but I'm very unhappy with the way that things are running in the city.
Our hearts, you can't stop what our hearts feel, so like I have the freedom to talk back to their ignorant response. So like fine, they can say whatever they want, but I'll try my best to prove them wrong, regardless of anything.
To be honest, we all want to enjoy the freedom of speech everywhere, whether it's in America or whether in our Muslim world as well. I think every human being is striving for a freedom of speech. I think freedom of speech should always be with the respect of others. Everyone is entitled to their opinion, but always respect the others. And I think by being in America for 20 years and living among people who don't share my faith, don't share necessarily my belief, my opinion, but we learn to live together, we learn to respect each other, and we're all entitled to our opinions. I think that's what it is. As long as we respect each other, we don't throw it on each other's faces, then, we can expect everyone to think like us. We don't expect everyone to believe to what we believe. But still, we entitled, we have to respect each other.
I feel there are a lot of people that are ignorant, but you should just look up to your religion. And I never met anyone that was really rude to me or anything. But there are people out there. But it's not only against Islam. There's a lot of racism. It's like a lot of people out there. It's not only against Islam.
To me, I'm proud to be an American, and I'm proud that I have the ability of the freedom of speech. I do think that it comes with a common sense, though. I think that, humans should, be able to look at what the messages that they're trying to give out and be able to determine whether it's either hate speech or freedom of speech. And in this case, with the Subway ad, with the Innocence of Muslims movie, to me that was pure, hate. It was bigotry at its finest. And I would hope that, even though we do, mashallah, have that in America of the freedom of speech, that there should be limitations on the individual to realize when they're saying something that's hateful or hurtful to a group of people.
So
I was keeping tabs on this. You see, like, as a Muslim and a Palestinian, I am doubly offended. I am not a savage. I think it's good in the sense that it exposes Pamela Geller for the bigot that she is. I think that anybody who is a person of color, whether you're Latino, whether you're African American, whether you're Arab, every colonized peoples has been defined as a savage at some point in time. And I think that people are going to start noticing the vernacular here and become upset. And I think that, honestly, Geller, like, come on, keep on spending your money on these ads. You're not fooling anyone. I'm not a savage.
A bunch of people have put together a Twitter campaign tomorrow called My Subway Ad. And so what you're supposed to do is tweet more or less what ad you would put together if you were able to do an ad in the MTA, in the subway system. And so one of the ways Muslim Consultative Network wanted to help and assist with this is that we created a poster project. So we have folks that are creating their own subway ad, and then tomorrow what we'll do is we'll take a picture of all these ads and tweet it underneath the hashtag #MySubwayAd, and in hopes that it'll educate folks about what Muslims are really about.
can you show us what you?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm guessing that's one of the.
This is from Noor, age 16, and she put, be open-minded. It's a very simple but amazing message that just tells people to, deep down the messages to learn about each other. And we also had a little boy. I wish I could. Can I find it? I became Muslim at the beginning of 2006, mainly after 2 years of working and living near a Muslim community. Mainly, I just got to know them, and I enjoyed the way they lived their life, the way that they saw God in everything that they did, and it just that was what really was the dawah for me. Not necessarily Muslims coming up to me and saying, learn the Quran. It was just true watching them live the Sunnah life, and that's what got me initially interested in learning about Islam. And alhamdulillah, I took my shahada in January 2006. It was definitely a transition period. Alhamdulillah, my parents, knowing them so well, they would not disown me for this decision, of course. They had a lot of questions, and still to this day, 6.5 years later, I'm still answering them. But they, once I got married last year, now my husband is there to communicate with them about Islam. So it's becoming it's more of an educational period for them, and I'm just so glad that they accept me for who I am.
I've never seen English Quran. This is the first time someone gave me English language Quran. So now I will try to read it a little. I maybe not read the whole thing, but I will read it a little bit to learn more.
Seeing everyone else in hijab makes you feel proud that we're not the only ones, and there's more people out there. There's more Muslims out there.